Fitness. It's a word used a lot in connection with an individual's ability to perform in their chosen sports or athletic events. It's also commonly used in connection with a person's general state of health and well-being. But physical fitness is not a straightforward concept to define or assess. There are different types of fitness and many different fitness levels, which depend on the amount and intensity of activity that an individual is required to do. In this program, we'll examine various components of fitness and a range of factors relevant to analyzing an individual's fitness. We'll look at what is fitness, fitness components 1 and 2, fitness testing, and analyzing fitness for a particular sport. So, what is fitness? What does it mean to be fit? From the outset, it should be said that defining fitness has caused considerable debate over many years. That's because human beings are all unique, and individuals have their own set of distinctive attributes and abilities. People come in all shapes and sizes, and participate in a huge range of different physical activities and sports that require different levels and different types of fitness. With that in mind, let's look at some of the ways fitness is defined and described. The US government's Department of Health and Human Services defines physical fitness as a set of attributes a person has in regards to their ability to perform physical activities requiring aerobic fitness, endurance, strength, or flexibility, and is determined by a combination of regular activity and genetically inherited ability.
So physical fitness is like a general state of health and well-being. It's made up of regular physical activity, good nutrition, and regular recovery periods.
Physical fitness is often divided into health-related categories and skill or performance-related categories. Health-related fitness refers to those attributes a person has relating to their general health and well-being. Skill or performance-related fitness refers to those attributes a person has which enable optimal sports or athletic performance. Achieving a reasonable level of physical fitness involves balancing an appropriate exercise program with a sensible diet. The benefits of maintaining a reasonable level of fitness are many. They include achieving and maintaining a healthy weight, developing bone and muscle strength, and sustaining a capacity for sufficient aerobic activity to undertake everyday activities. And as we'll see shortly, there are different components of fitness. It's not just about aerobic capacity, although that's an important component. Being physically fit helps to ward off a number of lifestyle diseases, including obesity, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. It also assists in the prevention of conditions such as osteoarthritis and helps maintain the immune system. People who enjoy a healthy and balanced lifestyle usually make time to include fitness activities into their daily or weekly routine. But physical fitness impacts on more than just the body. It is also important in keeping an individual psychologically healthy, because it increases self-esteem and mental alertness. This means that fit people generally have good to high levels of motivation and an increased capacity to enjoy what they do in all aspects of their lives. Physical fitness also promotes emotional well-being. Mental and emotional health are important parts of overall fitness. There is a direct relationship between them. So a healthy and stable person enjoys balance in those 3 ways: physically, mentally, and emotionally. Social benefits also derive from being healthy and fit, such as being able to keep up with friends and enjoy a range of activities with them. There are a number of different definitions for physical fitness. Fitness is often divided into general health-related categories and specific skill and performance-related categories. There are many benefits to maintaining and improving fitness. Together with a balanced diet, maintaining reasonable levels of physical fitness promotes good health, helps fight disease and illness, promotes emotional stability, and encourages a healthy social life. There are a number of different components to fitness. Let's examine them in brief detail before looking at how they are tested in analysing an individual's fitness. Aerobic power refers to the rate at which aerobic energy is delivered to the muscles, enabling work to be done. The combination of aerobic power and aerobic capacity is often referred to as cardiorespiratory endurance. This component of fitness involves the ability of the body's cardiovascular and respiratory systems to do work. Oxygen is taken into the lungs and transported to working muscles in the blood. The aerobic energy system is the most commonly used system and is required for any kind of physical activity. Anaerobic power refers to the rate at which anaerobic energy is delivered to the muscles. Anaerobic energy is provided by two systems in the body, the ATP-PC energy system and the lactic acid system. Anaerobic energy systems deliver a lot of energy, but it is explosive energy that lasts only a short time. The ATP, PC and lactic acid energy systems are also required for every type of physical activity. Another component is muscular strength, which refers to the ability of a muscle to exert force. Every sport or athletic event involves some degree of muscular strength. But when muscles contract, it's not just about how strong they are or how much force they can exert. Most sports and athletic events involve muscular strength over a period of time, be it seconds, minutes, or hours. Another component of fitness is muscular endurance, which refers to the amount of external force that a muscle can exert over an extended period of time.
So muscular strength, that's the maximum amount of force a muscle can produce for a given contraction. Stuff like high speed lifting, explosive sprinting, trying to get as much power as you can. Muscular endurance, which is the ability of their muscles to repeat contractions over and over again for a set period of time.
Local muscular endurance is a term that relates to the ability of a single muscle or group of muscles to perform repetitive work. Sports that involve repetitive use of the same muscles, for example rowing or swimming, require high levels of local muscular endurance for muscles in the arms and shoulders, because the same muscles are used repeatedly. Speed is another component of fitness, which relates to how quickly work can be done or the ability to perform a movement within a short time period. Muscular power combines strength and speed. It refers to the ability of a muscle to contract rapidly. Aerobic power is the rate at which aerobic energy is delivered to the muscles. It involves cardiovascular and respiratory systems. Anaerobic power is the rate at which anaerobic energy is delivered to the muscles. Muscular strength is the ability to exert force. Muscular endurance is the ability to sustain muscle action over time. Speed is how quickly work can be done. Muscular power combines muscular strength and speed. Another fitness component is flexibility. Flexibility relates to the range of motion that is available at a joint. The more flexible muscles are, the greater the range of motion possible around a joint in the body. Flexibility is defined in terms of both static and dynamic flexibility.
flexibility. It's got two components. There's static flexibility, which is the range of motion of a joint, and then there's dynamic flexibility, which is the resistance of a joint in motion. Body composition, which is an assessment of distribution of fat, lean muscle.
Agility is another fitness component. It refers to the ability to rapidly change the position of the entire body with speed and accuracy. Most team sports and athletic events require agility. All sports tend to require a high level of agility because of their more unpredictable nature, meaning the body has to change position and direction very quickly and frequently. Other sports and events where participants need high levels of agility include diving, gymnastics, and field events in athletics.
Agility, which is the body's ability to change direction effectively and combine speed, coordination, balance.
Balance relates to the ability to control and maintain the body's position. This can be either while stationary or while moving. These two variations are known as static balance and dynamic balance. Reaction time is another fitness component. Reaction time is important in many sports and athletic events. It relates to the time it takes for information to be processed by the nervous system and to react to it. Examples where reaction times are important include batting and fielding in cricket and baseball, returning service in tennis, playing football, and responding to the starter's gun for a race on the track or in the pool. Coordination refers to the ability to use the senses such as sight and hearing together with muscles to perform motor tasks smoothly and accurately. Coordination involves the nervous system and muscular and skeletal systems working together to deliver harmonious execution of movements. Finally, body composition. This component of fitness refers to the different amounts of muscle, fat, bone, and other tissues of which the body is composed. Flexibility is the range of movement around a joint and is defined in terms of both static and dynamic flexibility. Agility is the ability to rapidly change the position of the body. Balance is the ability to control the body's position. Reaction time is how long processing information and reacting to it takes. Coordination is the ability to move smoothly and accurately. And body composition is the proportion of fat, muscle, and other tissue. Fitness testing provides athletes and their coaches with valuable information about the athlete's ability to perform certain tasks and to identify both areas of strength and areas where improvement is needed. Fitness testing is often the starting point when developing a training program. Considerations such as level of intensity, frequency, duration, and types of training employed need to be taken into account.
With our fitness levels, we have a number of tests that we run and we conduct periodically through the year. We have 4 main tests and we also have spasmodic ones in between, depending on, again, what phase of the year it is, so that we can get a good assessment of their levels of aerobic fitness, their agility, their quickness.
Various components of fitness are tested using different methods. While we won't cover all fitness components here, we'll examine some of the common tests used. And while we will be describing various tests here, it must be remembered that to make results meaningful for any particular athlete, they need to be compared against certain benchmarks. A range of tests are used for aerobic power and capacity. One is the Cooper's 12-minute run test. This is carried out at maximal intensity and involves measuring how far an athlete can run in 12 minutes. The 20-meter shuttle run or beep test is used to test for aerobic power where an athlete follows a progressively increasing pace over a 20-metre course for as long as they can.
Yeah, well, basically what it is, it's between the baseline and a cone that's set out 20 metres, and it's a timed running drill, and it's timed to beeps, and it builds up with a acceleration through the beeps. They're in blocks of, I think it's 8 in a section, so you run to a beep, rest period in between, and then you run again. So basically it starts off at walking pace, jogging pace, and builds up through.
Tests for anaerobic power include the phosphate recovery test. This is done at maximal level and involves an athlete undertaking sets of sprints with a period of rest between them.
We spoke about the physical demands of international football and how that's an important part of selecting players or athletes who may go on to represent Australia. And we assess that area of the game by testing. We have a sprint test where we test players over 20 metres from a standing start, 5, 10 and 20 metres. We try and get players that are under 3 seconds for 20 metres.
Muscular strength is tested in various ways, including the grip strength test using a grip dynamometer. This piece of equipment directly measures the strength of an individual's grip. Usually, a minimum of 3 trials are used. Muscular endurance is tested using a range of different exercises, such as sit-ups, push-ups and pull-ups. Typically with sit-ups, athletes are required to perform correct sit-ups at a certain rate over a period of time, such as 3 or 5 minutes. Often push-up tests are administered by counting how many push-ups an individual can do in a 60-second time frame. Pull-up tests usually involve counting how many pull-ups can be done until the athlete is unable to continue. The standing long jump and vertical jump tests are 2 that are used to measure muscular power. Static flexibility tests include the sit and reach test, the shoulder and wrist elevation test, and the ankle extension test. Finally, agility tests are often carried out using obstacles placed in certain patterns on a running course, and an athlete is timed as they make their way around. One of the more common agility tests is known as the Illinois Agility Run, but a number of different agility tests are used in many different sports.
We have agility tests where they'll be basketball specific, where they'll move to areas on the floor, and again they'll go through timing gates to work out their quickness, change of direction, change of speed, which gives us a good indication of if we're on the right track.
Fitness testing provides valuable information to athletes and coaches. Aerobic power and capacity tests include the Cooper's 12-minute run and the shuttle run or beep test. Anaerobic power tests include the phosphate recovery test. Muscular strength is tested using a dynamometer. Muscular endurance tests include sit-up, push-up and pull-up tests. Standing long jumps and vertical jumps test muscular power. Agility is tested using obstacles on a running course. There are various tests for static flexibility. The analysis of an individual's fitness requires the collection of a range of data. This data can then be analysed to work out the strategies needed to enhance their physical performance. To determine which data needs to be collected, the attributes and skills needed for enhanced performance in the sport must first be identified. Data is gathered by observation, video recording and specific testing. Statistical analysis can then be applied to gauge an athlete's level of fitness and performance when compared with relevant benchmarks. Benchmarks could include a comparison with similar data pertaining to the best athletes or sports people at the elite level. Or for lower levels of competition, against averages for males and females of certain ages, heights and weights. The frequency and effectiveness of skills demonstrated by an individual can be very informative to the athlete and their coach. Skills relevant to the particular sport or event in question are observed, recorded and analysed. A number of top-level sports have a wide range of statistical data available relating to individual players' skills because of advanced computer technology and the existence of companies and individuals dedicated to collecting that data. Even so, while the data might be available, it isn't always possible to improve skill performance. That comes down to an individual's capacity and motivation.
You work with players and you think you can improve those areas, but after 6 or 7 months or a year, you might say, well, no, I don't think he's ever going to get it. I don't think he's going to improve those areas. Other players will. They will improve them. And again, that's part of the evaluation process by the coach.
The analysis of an individual's work-rest ratios is also useful. This involves comparing the amount of time an athlete is working with the amount of time they are resting during a game. However, it is important also to define exactly what constitutes work and rest for any particular sport. For example, if a football player is not directly in the action in a game but is still jogging to position, does that mean he or she is working or resting? Clear distinctions must be made. The work-rest ratio for most team sports is position-specific. That means that the amount of work and rest depends on the role an athlete plays in the team. For example, a football goalie may spend the majority of game time resting if the ball rarely comes down his or her end of the field. Likewise, someone batting or keeping wicket in a cricket game is likely to spend less time resting than a fielder who is positioned out on the boundary. Analysis of movement patterns is another method of analysing fitness. This is best achieved through video recording rather than direct observation. An athlete's movement during the course of a game can be tracked, and this, like skills analysis, can reveal a good deal of information about the muscle groups used by an individual during the course of a game or event. However, again, in some sports, movement patterns are specific to certain positions. They also need to be analysed with consideration given to their intensity and duration to give meaningful information about an individual's energy systems and fitness components. Fitness analysis requires data collection. This is done by observation, specific testing and video recording. Results are compared with benchmarks. Skills frequency and effectiveness is one area for which data is collected. Work-rest ratios are also analysed, but they are often specific to playing positions. Analysis of movement patterns provides information about muscle groups and energy systems. They must be considered in relation to playing positions and intensity and duration of movement. Fitness. It's one word that relates to many complex factors and processes involved in physical activity and the playing of sport. But by breaking down the complexities of fitness and considering the wide range of different factors that come into play when assessing and improving fitness, coaches and athletes in particular can focus on very specific areas that need work in order to improve performance. These include considering the components of fitness and the many and varied tests that can be applied to help in the assessment of fitness. They also include the gathering and analysis of many different types of data. And it's not just in elite levels of sport that all these factors are relevant. Today, with improved knowledge and technology, even the amateur sportsperson who just wants to stay fit, healthy, and perform as best they can is able to tap into the many advances made by sports science over the past few decades.